Hello and welcome to Mind, Mood and Food podcast with me, Margaret Adele, anti-diet powered coach and gut health expert, and my partner in crime, Adele Derbyshire.
Hello, I am a yoga teacher and creator of Find Your Inner Sparkle, which is a toolbox, 50 ways to help you to look and feel better from the inside out. Welcome back to this week's episode of Mind, Mood and Food, and I am with Margaret, and this week we are talking all about brain fog. Good one to talk about because of my age anyway. I don't know about anyone else.
and mine. Good God. Just before we got on here, I think I said, can we do this before I forget?
Exactly. I mean, the stuff that we've been doing lately between us, we have literally recorded the same podcast twice, and I think I've accidentally deleted both of them, so we still haven't got that one in the back. we've left it because it's cursed.
It's not meant to be.
Exactly. Parked that one. We'll come back to it.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah, I know what it was. But by next week I may not.
Yeah, exactly. Which is the whole blooming point of this brain fog thing. Don't know about you, but I did. Yeah, I forgot things when I was younger, but I don't think I had just this feeling that, one, I couldn't finish sentences, two, words just blooming disappear from my mouth completely, and I'm just standing there going, what the heck was I going to say? Or even just things that I know I'm supposed to be doing something, but can I heck remember what it was I'm supposed to be doing? Don't leave me hanging. That's not just me, is it?
No, but I think you're right. I think what I find difficult, and this is the same with lots of menopause symptoms actually, or perimenopause symptoms, of course, which this is one of, is just the discernment of whether it is a perimenopause symptom, because I know we're going to talk about menopause completely separately as well. But this particular aspect of it, is it something that was there before and it's got a little bit worse because it's just age or something? Or is this like a brand new thing? Because there's always been like flavors of it. I have had that thing which we all laugh about, where you go upstairs, you go running upstairs for something, you get to the top and you've not got a clue what you're doing up there. And I had that when I was younger, never mind at this age. So I don't, I do tend to blame most things on the perimenopause, but I do also try to think, well, is it or is it not? So I think it's difficult just to understand whether it is that, and then of course what the treatment would be for it. So obviously what would be interesting is to understand some of the symptoms, as in what is brain fog and what does it look like, what happens, and also then, well, if you are experiencing it, yourself coming from the diet and gut health side of things, is there something that we can do, some foods we can eat, some nutrients, some supplements, that kind of thing. Obviously as another line of treatment would be hormones and HRT and all of that good stuff as well. So there's lots of things we can do to address it, I guess, once we realize what it's there. But I do have it, but I think it might get worse. I suspect it will get worse because I'm just at the start of it.
Yeah, there's always a chance it can get worse, but there's always a chance that obviously it can be managed better as well. I mean, I know some of the physical symptoms of it, like one, chronic tiredness. And that's one of the most common physical symptoms of brain fog, is if you've literally got no energy, then your brain's not going to be functioning at its best anyway, and it's certainly not going to be remembering what the flipping heck to do, or when to do it, or what to say, because you're that blooming knackered that, you're just not functioning properly.
So is brain fog is tiredness a symptom of brain fog, or is brain fog a symptom of tiredness, or both? Because if you're not sleeping well and you're tired and things like that, I'm guessing then you would have a bit more forgetfulness. So I guess it could work both ways, that one.
Definitely. And people that suffer from brain fog as well might have difficulty distinguishing items when you're looking at them from a longer distance. So things like eye disorders might be a symptom of brain fog as well. But there's quite a few of them. Gastrointestinal dysfunction is definitely one of them. You know, intestinal stomach pain, which do then you have symptoms through your brain fog situation, and it can really interfere with your regular nutrient body supply. So that's all interlinked, and brain fog can actually affect your ability to actually metabolize your nutrients as well. So, you know, your metabolic rate can actually be affected, as well as headaches as well. There's quite a few different symptoms there. You
Yeah,
do
I can
have,
imagine headaches, and I can always remember my mom talking about a lot of this stuff,
mm,
and going out to work and having to live your normal life and function. And obviously, it's a lot better these days, isn't it? Because even back then, not that long ago, I think it just wasn't the done thing to say, look, I'm perimenopausal or I'm menopausal, I'm just struggling today. Maybe put me on a different job or something. Because I remember she'd be on like a till or a checkout at like a supermarket or Marx's, and she worked at in different retail jobs. And dealing with all that kind of customers and noise and having to do money and think like that, if you're in that brain fog moment, was very difficult for her.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and maybe if you have got a more understanding employer these days, and people have health and well-being policies, or they should have,
mhm,
because it is actually a requirement, to look after the employees. It's a duty of care, which would cover obviously health and wellness. And so women going through this would be part of that. So maybe having that conversation as well, because you can then be feeling less than, can't you? And I can imagine feeling imposter syndrome ramping up and things like that. And that's where we get this knock to our confidence during this
yeah,
time, because things that are just going on hormonal or chemically in our bodies that are causing some of these confusions. And my mum called it a funny head. She
yeah,
goes, I've had a funny head today, and that's what she meant. This brain
mm,
fog, just can't quite cognitize, is that the right word? What someone's saying to you, or what you've got to do, or a task you've got to do. And it must be, frightening, really.
yeah. Because you just don't. A lot of people, when I've done the likes of gut health and menopause talks, they're the only person by far. You're definitely not. You wouldn't. There are amount of people that have the likes of brain fog and think, God, what's going on with me? Why is this happening?
Mm,
Sometimes the relief just comes knowing that actually this is quite
mm,
normal. Um, hormones, changing, not just when we're perimenopausal or menopausal. You know, men can suffer from this as well when the
mm,
testosterone drops. So it's not just women; it can be men as well. But different times in life when your hormones are here, there, and everywhere can lead to so many different things. So knowing that you're not the only one with
mm.
this can just be such a huge relief.
And being brave enough to acknowledge it and get it out there into the open
Mhm,
is really vital, I think, just to get that support from people.
mhm,
And then also what I'm just thinking, what other things can you do to help with it? So obviously, if you're feeling a little bit like this at regular intervals, so you know that you're going through this,
mhm,
yes, you can go and get hormones checked and things like that, and go and
mhm,
speak to your GP and your health professional. But I'm thinking things like writing things down more, and making sure you've got your calendar up to date, and
mhm.
just taking steps to protect yourself against it, I think. Because if you do, like you said before, sure, I was meant to be doing something, and what am I doing? One of my tools that I use in my Find Your Inner Sparkle toolbox is things like time management and organization, and
Yeah.
how to manage what you've got on your plate. And I'd be lost without a list. I'd not keep all that in my head. And if I tried to keep it all in my head, I'd feel very overwhelmed. So to get things down, even sometimes you think it's not even worth writing on your list. If you write it down, as soon as it comes in, like somebody asks you for something or it's an email and you go, oh yeah, I'll email you or I'll get back to you.
Yeah,
Just stick it on a list, put it somewhere, because it saves you then the stress of trying to remember it later. And then it saves you that embarrassment and all of that stuff and that guilt and that imposter syndrome when you do forget.
absolutely. God, yeah, definitely. I mean, there's definitely different things that'll help. And I know it can be the likes of a vicious circle with some people, but sleep, my goodness,
Mm,
it is so flaming important when it comes to the likes of this. And yeah, we can have difficulties sometimes sleeping in the night, and then the whole kind of cycle goes round. But if you can start by just doing the same thing each evening as a repetition to get
mm,
you into that sleeping pattern, you know,
yeah,
have, just that relaxation time. Don't be looking at your blue lights just before sleep.
And
If
I'm just thinking, if people want more information on sleep, we did do a separate
Yeah.
podcast on that, didn't we? I'm just
Hmm.
checking. I think it was episode 13. It might not be. I'm just looking at our little spreadsheet, but it's around that. It's around that. So if people want to go back and get the whole
Hmm.
info about that, if sleep is an issue.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. So practice like a regular sleeping routine to get you into that, because sleep is so very important when it
Yeah,
comes to brain fog.
prioritize it. Yeah.
Yeah, prioritize it. Get get to to bed half an hour before if necessary, and just prioritize sleep in your
Mm.
life, because it is
Prioritize
very
it
important.
and track it. These days we can track the sleep very easily with all these little watches and Fitbits and Apple Watches, smartwatches, all that sort of stuff. So you might think you're getting a good quality sleep, but maybe you're not. Maybe you are getting in bed for that time,
Mm.
but you're not getting enough to sleep, or you're waking up and things like that. So definitely track it, because if it is that you're not sleeping well, at least then you're aware of it and you can take steps to try and improve that.
Definitely. And definitely a few supplements that you can take to it might not necessarily completely get rid of the brain fog, but it'll definitely help the brain functioning.
Mm,
And anything that's going to help the brain functioning is going to help with that brain fog. So iron supplements for one. Definitely start looking at your iron levels and see where they are. And omega-3 as well. Huge for brain activity. Huge for a brain supplement, definitely.
Omega-3, as in you can take that as a supplement,
Yeah.
or that's all your oily fish and things like
Yeah,
that, isn't
that's
it?
your oily fish as well. Avocados, seeds, nuts, they've definitely all got in. But you might still need, as we get older, we need more omega-3. Ladies definitely do. So, have those levels checked out if needs be, and supplement if needs be as well.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely good advice. And just thinking about a couple of essential oils as well, being somebody that uses essential oils, as I know that you do,
Yeah.
things like rosemary is
Oh, yeah.
actually a good one for
Mhm.
clearing that brain fog. And you like we said, not just for women, but I made my son a little concoction up with a little bit of rosemary in, and I think basil and things to help when he's like revising for his exams and things like that, just to kind of clear the mind and to increase focus. So
Mhm.
I guess with brain fog as well, we might find that we're a bit scattered, because we're not focused on one thing. So some things that I'm just thinking of are, along with the essential oil like rosemary, trying to focus on one thing. So we can be guilty of trying to multitask, can't we? And if you're
Mhm.
already feeling a little bit like struggling, just getting that, dropping all the multitasking. If you're having a conversation with somebody, have a conversation with somebody,
Yeah.
be present. Don't be like looking at your phone at the same time and things like that, because I think sometimes we can think that we're not, you know, oh, I'm just having one of those moments and I'm not remembering what you said and things like that. And it can be because we weren't really
You
present
weren't
and
present
focused.
in
So
that
yeah,
time.
we're never going
Yeah.
to remember what's been said to us if we were like thinking about a million and one other things that we've got to do that day after that conversation that you're in,
Mhm.
um, or we're doing something else even worse at the same time. And I know I try to do this with the kids when they come in from school, because if you're still working and you're like, just hang on, I'm just writing this email, and it does happen sometimes, or I'm
Yeah.
just busy on a call. But you're not going to be taking in what they're saying, and if they're wanting to have a chat, that's
Exactly.
great. Let them have that chat and let them have that time. So if you can build things into your day that mean that you can be a little bit more present. If you're doing a task, do the task.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing to consider, which I didn't even think of for brain fog, to be quite honest with you, but after doing a talk with a lady a couple of weeks ago who is an actual expert at this, acupuncture.
Mm, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
There'll be lots of things, won't there?
Yeah,
I was thinking outside the box. Like I said, you could use lots of these, or you could try like one thing at once.
yeah,
Sometimes you don't know what's working if you just throw everything at it. If you suddenly go and get your hormones checked and go on to hormone replacements, you start using all your essential oils, you go for all your acupuncture, you're not going to know what's work. You're up your
yeah.
sleep. And like we always say, maybe try one thing at a time, and then you know what works for you.
Yeah, absolutely. But definitely worth putting into that toolbox just as and when needed.
Yeah, I'd say just make a bit of a list, because we're here just to kind of, number one, shine a light on it. And like Margaret, like you just said, I think just knowing that you're not on your own with it, and just to go, oh my
It's
God, so
huge.
other people have that as well,
Yeah.
can make you feel so much better, instead of feeling like, you know, um, and that you're not good enough. So that's really useful in itself, isn't it? And then to
Mhm.
have those extra little tools that you can try, as well, just to back that up, like the supplements, like the likes of the omega-3, the oily fish, the
Mhm.
rosemary oil, or even, adding extra rosemary into your cooking, adding them
Yeah.
onto, fresh herbs onto your potatoes and things like that, that rosemary goes with.
Yeah.
It's quite a strong herb, isn't it, rosemary?
Oh, I love it though.
Yeah.
Literally started to grow it again. So yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites because
Yeah.
it's robust no matter what you put it in.
It is. I can always grow rosemary. It's like in the window box outside. All the other herbs, like basil, takes such a lot of tender,
Effort.
loving care, and it's like rosemary's like, oh, I can put it in a pot. But things like peppermint as well, because
Mm,
just it's that feeling of wanting to cut through that fog, isn't it? So
definitely.
peppermint, it's gonna
Yeah.
like zing. It's gonna make
Mhm.
you much more awake. And obviously the oils that I recommend, the doTERRA oils, can be taken in water as well, because they're pure. And I know we've talked about this before, having one little drop in your glass of water, maybe that's something that you could introduce each
Yeah.
day, just to help to cut through that brain fog. It's a bit like smelling salts, isn't it? Just
It
that
is just
that
oh.
sensation of woo, like, right, I'm here, I'm awake, I'm focused, let's do it.
Yeah, definitely. Nothing like that drop of peppermint in the morning. You're just like,
Exactly.
whew.
Well, I know some people that do it like a peppermint shot, so they don't even put it in the glass of water, they put it under the tongue. Peppermint
Wow.
shot.
Whew,
If you want to go
whew.
hardcore, go big or go home. It's very minty and it's very powerful. But yeah, it is good for the
Oh,
old
fab.
waking you up.
Flipping heck, I haven't done that. I'll have to give that a go and
Give that a go,
report back.
especially over the festive season, when we might be a bit more tired and lacking in
Yeah.
sleep and things like that, as we crack on into the whole of December.
Yeah.
You might need a couple of peppermint shots in the morning to get you going.
Yeah. I'll have to give that a go and report back.
Report back, absolutely.
So
So
I think,
thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Have you got anything else, any more words of wisdom on brain fog? We probably could do another one on this kind. Like I
oh,
said, we're gonna
definitely.
we're gonna tackle the different
So many.
symptoms of perimenopause and menopause as well, because there are lots of different symptoms. But um, yeah, you're not on your own. try
No.
some of the tips and tools, and definitely let us know. We'd love to hear from anyone that's listening to these Mind, Mood and Food podcasts. How are they helping you? What tips have you picked up? What's worked? What hasn't worked? And are there any subjects that you're just like, oh, I'd love the ladies to chat about this? That would be amazing. We'd love to hear from you, and we will definitely add it into the future. And if you have enjoyed today's episode, give us a little like, give us a subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, and it really helps our channel, our podcast, to reach more people. So thank you very much, Margaret, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Adele. See you next time.
See you next time.